So, Pulses, today on She Diaries, our guest is Charmaine Kahiya. Charmaine Kahiya's higher education began with a BSc in Biochemistry and Microbiology from Rhodes University in Grahamstown, South Africa, and continued with another honors in BSc, this one in Biological Sciences from the University of Zimbabwe, awarded in 2014. Later that same year, Kahiya, through African Institute of Sciences and Technology, she secured a certificate in forensic DNA testing at Live Technologies in California and a certificate in medicinal chemistry at Davidson College in North Carolina. Charmaine Kahiya is pursuing Zimbabwe. To this end, she is an active mentor for girls through several organizations, including Zimbabwe Young Academy of Sciences and Zimbabwe Gender. That's Zimbabwe Gender in STEM. She is 2023 Mandela Washington Fellow, due to what she calls STEMinism, and was picked earlier this year for the Spark Africa initial cohort by Stanford University. Charmaine, Charmaine, Charmaine.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that.
Yes, the had to be big. The intro had to be big. Charmaine, welcome to Capi Talk.
Thank you for the welcome. Hi, everybody.
Right. So between 12 and 3 o'clock, the people tuned into the radio are called pulses, right? Because they keep the heartbeat going.
Okay.
Exactly. So this is where, right, it's going to be a lit one. So let's hear from Charmaine Kahiya from the age of 12. What was the childhood like?
Actually, it starts before that
Yeah.
with what my dad calls career mapping.
Okay, let's talk about that.
So you spoke about parenting.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad started with us when we were around 5-6 years, asking us what we wanted to be. Then I wanted to be a scientist because I always used to ask why. Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green?
No.
And my parents were...
You were that child.
I'm that child.
Man, like 300 questions.
Or more.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So they literally bought me a book called Tell Me Why. Think about things like, is the green you see the green I see? Turns out it might not be according to science.
Yeah.
Why do people have different voice tones? Things like that. Why our nose is bigger and flatter? It's all scientific. So everything is science. And that's what I also want people to know. Science is not hard. Everything is science. No matter what you do, if you're a baker, that's science. PCR was invented by a baker.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad helped me narrow that passion to specifically medical science and forensic science. So I wanted to do both, and I ended up getting to do them both in an interesting way. And so he helped me work backwards. What would it take for me to get a degree in science?
Mm-hmm.
It'll take a certain number of A-level units, points.
Right.
What would it take for me to study those subjects? It'll take me to do a certain subject at O-level and backwards until I got to where I was in grade 1.
Mm-hmm.
So what did I need to do in grade 1 to get me to where I wanted to be at university? Wow. So that's why I say starting at 12 is too late, because you're already in grade 7 and there's already 7 years of foundation that has happened.
Oh, wow.
And my parents are not scientists. So that's why they're also frustrated by my questions.
What does she want us to do?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So even for the forensic passion, remember this is back before internet was a thing like now.
Yeah.
My dad would go and Google over 2 hours worth of information on forensics, on medical science. My passion was HIV research. And I used to say I'm going to find the cure for HIV when I was 6. And somehow I ended up in HIV drug discovery. Yeah. So there's also power in words. And he helped me even though it wasn't his field. And then when he couldn't, he handed me off to my mentor, Professor Masimirimboa, the founder of African Institute of Biomedical Sciences. And that's where I then went and got to be a forensic scientist, and science researcher, And his organization is the one that then partnered with Stanford University to bring them to Africa, to bring Spark to Africa, which is a program that combines scientists from all over to work together in one country. So
foundations need to be set at that time from a young age, and your parents fed into it because they didn't have the answers. And as a parent, it does get annoying, when this little brain is saying, mama, every 5 seconds, mama. I think on an average, a child will ask like 3,000 questions a day, like really. And as a parent, you have to have answers. And then your dad was like, okay, that has all these answers.
The book was my mom's idea.
Oh, the book was mom's idea.
Yeah, my mom is the one who made me a reader. She actually forced me. Again, foundation, when I was grade 2, 3, she said, every week you shall write in English, 2 English.
Got half of ZB Bank tuned in with your dad. So just say hi, Dad, and then we can just
hi, Dad. Hi, Cynthia.
Yes, move on with the interview. You spoke big about your parents' influence. At what point in your life do you think, if your parents hadn't stayed?
It was all the way back with their siblings. There was no one in science. But through me, I'm happy to think I motivated my 2 cousins because one's a medical lab technologist and another one, I think I could just call her plant whisperer. She's got a master's in plant breeding and stuff. And they're all C's. So we're like the triple C science officials because it was what my parents were good at. But I wanted science, and my parents helped me get that, even if it wasn't what they understood. Because even when I wanted to go to university, my first choice was the BSc, but I got into pharmacy and law. And my parents were like, what will you do with a BSc? Pharmacy is science, but it wasn't what I wanted. And I was quite unhappy. It was okay.
And you just didn't.
It wasn't what I wanted, but they were able to hear me out.
Career, and on the career side of things, they were pushing girls towards STEM. They did something big in Vic Falls, and STEM related. Would you say more and more women are getting into STEM, or is it okay? Are they being forced to get into STEM? Like, we don't have enough women in STEM, so let's just grab as many women as we can and force them to get into STEM, or are they willingly getting into a STEM career?
And it's something that can also be intimidating. So you have to know that it can be intimidating to be the only one or the first. Right. And then sometimes the environment is not so conducive for a woman, especially a young woman, right, to be in that space. So a lot of women are getting together to be in that space. And organizations like one that I represent, it wasn't in my bio.
Right.
It's called the Organization for Women in Science from Developing Countries. It's a UNESCO initiative. It's got chapters around the world in developing countries. And I'm proud to say I'm an executive committee member. I work with men. That's what I need men to understand. For this organization, we actually have a specific designation called Friends of OWSD. You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be a woman to participate and help science, the cause of science, move forward, because development and innovation come from science. Nothing can progress without science, and I'm sure COVID showed everyone that. You need us so much more than you thought.
COVID showed us a lot. Besides the whole science aspect of things, COVID showed us who we were as human beings, and COVID showed us our limits, the number of things that we limit ourselves in. COVID showed us a lot.
And I think maybe that's where the new generation is getting, let's call them the guts, to go for things that we maybe weren't as daring to go for.
That's it.
And I would like to believe, as I said, OWSD and other organizations have paved the way for the younger crop of girl scientists coming up, even the boy scientists, because I believe once both sides see the value in each other, we can work together. I don't believe in giving someone something because of their gender or any other thing except merit.
Thank you.
So I don't believe
Thank
that
you.
you should.
Someone said it.
Yes, I don't believe
Yes.
you should hire women scientists
Because
there are no
women.
women scientists or because they're women, but because you should hire scientists regardless that they're women.
They are a scientist, period.
Yes, period.
Yes, and they're good at what they do.
good at what they do.
Oh man. You know, I always have a headache around this thing where women enter industries that are male dominated and they feel like they should get first pick or first hand pick because I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay, it's fine, it's cute. But
Then what?
Then what? What are you literally bringing to the table? You know that whole statement, I want a seat at the table. Okay, fine, you get a seat at the table. And then and then what?
And you know, on that's another note. Women are creating their own tables. That's also what's happening in the science world. Look at OWSD. Another one is a good friend and someone I work with, Stelo Dube.
Oh, I love Stelo.
Stelo.
Hey, Stelo does the most.
She is awesome.
She is.
And so you see what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to make my own table and you're going to come to my table.
And they are coming to
her table.
She has made science like so beautiful.
Girls being in science cool.
It's so cool. I remember when she started with that initiative and
Elevate Trust.
Yeah. I was like, personally, I want to be a scientist. And I was like checking the clock here, like, what can I do to get myself into it? Because believe it or not, one of the subjects I did really well at in school was my science. And then when I majored in college, it had to do with anatomy and physiology, cosmetic chemistry.
What?
I did the whole somatology course, but I thought they were just going to teach me how to paint nails, do a manicure, pedicure, and then before I knew it was first year of med school. I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? And I fell in love with it even more, learning about the body, learning about, mixing chemicals to get this and that. So there's a certain angle of my life, a certain part of my life that likes the whole science aspect of things. So when science is spoken about, I get excited because I'm like, what have I been missing out on? Then when we meet women like you who are really like into the things, I'm just like, oh wow, see the possibilities.
And
see the possibilities.
This is why my passion, or one of the projects I want to do, is demystify science and make it a family thing, almost something I saw when I went to the States.
Right.
There's a state park, so part of the fellowship is not all fun and games. In fact, it's not all fun. In fact, it's 90% work because you learn literally a whole semester in 6 weeks of leadership training. You go to school 8 to 5, then you go networking every day
for 6 weeks.
Except for weekends, but the weekends are not really yours because then that's when you do the social networking stuff.
Right.
So even the evenings you'd finish like at 11 p.m. I barely had time to talk to anyone because of the time zones. And then you go into all of that stuff. So we would also have to do community service. So we went to, we had to do like 4 different types of community service. This one was my favorite because it was sciencey. And how they did it was the state park. And they showed us how they're using the locals to keep the water clean and to actually take readings. So people were registered to become, I forgot, they gave it a cute name. They get a little lab coat and a little box. It's not even really that deep science. It's deeping for pH and observing if the water is cloudy and stuff. But people love it. And the more you do it, you get ranked up, you get a bigger kit and bigger title, but it's literally science and they're being taught how to preserve the environment. And we have issues with litter, with wood, firewood cutting, different issues. And I feel if we bring science demystified to the community, to the children, to the families, and it starts on that level, because science is a lot. It's not just us making COVID vaccines. It's you knowing that plastic is not biodegradable, so don't throw it in the road because tomorrow you're going to be saying the streets are dirty. Say it louder
for the people in the back.
Don't throw plastic in the road.
Thank you. I drive behind people that I itch to just like park my car and I'm like, why are you littering? Stop it.
See, if science was taught in them that, these are things I just know. Pills are biodegradable. I just know that. In a country where we can put recycling, then people now know that, this goes there. And I feel like if we start with us in our homes, teaching each other, basic science that you say is grade 1 science, it's all in there.
It's all in there.
It's all in there. But we prioritize other subjects for some reason because we think some people, but science is for all of us.
No, I think science, especially in African homes, is for doctors. Like if you do science, you're going to be a doctor, and I'm that's
also
it.
Called doctor by people, and I say I'm not that doctor. I want to. I've stopped explaining.
Like it's okay, yeah, doctor
diagnosis
and the pharmaceutical side of things also lets you know what medicines work.
Makes it worse.
Oh my goodness! It is Capital 100.4 FM. We've got Charmaine Kahiya in studio. She is a scientist extraordinaire. That's all I'm going to say for now. If you have any questions, contributions, or comments that you want to send through, 0719 100-404 is the WhatsApp number to get in touch with us. Now we want to get into Charmaine and the things that she stands for.
Okay.
I know for a fact, because of, I've spoken to you before this interview, so I know there's certain things that you stand for. And we want to talk about those things and any mentorship program that you have for young girls because of either things that you've been through or things that are happening with women, and women are being marginalized, and it's just like, it's a girl thing. It's not that big. I want to get into Michelle's world, Charmaine's world in that aspect.
Okay, so I'll start. There are 2 aspects in terms of, actually there are 3. I'm a mental health, I'm a big ambassador for mental wellness.
Okay.
I believe people should seek help, therapy, whatever. People need to seek help because every single one of us has childhood issues, trauma.
Yeah.
Every single one of us has life issues that have forced us to react certain ways or certain things. And I believe for you to achieve who you're meant to be, you need to know yourself and you need to figure out yourself through therapy or something for you to be your best self. So I'm big on that. I'm also big on endometriosis awareness. I'm an endo warrior myself. And what endometriosis is a woman's sexual and reproductive health disease or condition where the cells that grow in the uterus grow anywhere outside the uterus. And they still behave as they should be. There's no treatment for it. There's no cure for it. And there's no one-size-fits-all treatment.
There's no cure?
I personally have had 3 surgeries.
Absolutely no cure?
There's no cure.
Come on, scientists, do something for us.
We're trying. We need money. That is the thing. We need people in business, people in economics to support us with the money. Because you see what happens with science, people think what results, but science is not immediate. It can take 25 years to make a discovery. So we need that patience.
Right.
And for endometriosis, there's a support network called the Zimbabwe Endometriosis Support Network. So if you're a young girl or woman listening to me who knows someone who is someone, sisters, when I was in the depressed, I'll just write, guys, I'm not okay. And they just beautiful souls who sometimes someone will send you a care package. These are strangers. And all we are united by is the fight against endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, adenomyosis. Years for a woman to get diagnosis. Personally, it took 20 years. And I happen to have a supportive family and had the means to get, the expensive surgery to diagnose me. And yet it still took so long. So think about all those girls all those young women in the rural areas.
In their life. I went through that for one day. I was throwing up. I was dizzy. My back was sore. My womb was sore. My legs were swollen. I was like, what?
And then your brain is like
on?
Slow.
I think I missed school that day.
Exactly.
I was going to. I finished eating breakfast and all I wanted to do was bleh. And I was throwing up the whole day. But it was just that one day. I went on my period the next day, and I was like, why? Why should I suffer?
And that's why I asked, is it necessary?
Is it necessary? Like, why? I remember I was like, no, being a woman,
And you know, there are myths that have a baby, it'll stop it. Surgery, nothing cures endo, nothing stops endo. And if you have a woman in your life with pain, so your nerves get so used to pain, sometimes they're just firing off pain signals when there's no trigger. Then there's the pain of the endometrial flesh pressing on the wrong thing. Then there's the excess hormones. So it's a lot. That's what I stand for. The third thing I stand for is science. The best thing I stand for, I think.
What about
and
the science?
So in science, I stand for everyone getting a chance. I don't only stand for girls. I stand for everyone getting a chance. I think that the world is now multidisciplinary, and we need each other. And so I encourage people from other fields who've never seen themselves working in science to figure out how they can bring science into their work, because science, primarily tech, is changing the world. And I worked at the supercomputer. People don't even know we have a supercomputer in Zim, but we do.
Look at my eyes. Did you just see that? I'm like, what?
Yes, we do have a supercomputer. There are only about 10 in Africa, and Zimbabwe got one 2014.
What does a supercomputer do?
How
is that beneficial?
So a supercomputer is actually what helps me do what I do. I do drug discovery, computer-aided drug discovery. So instead of looking for medicine, taking so much time testing on, people, animals, to figure out if something can be a drug or in the lab, we start off on the computer. We know the chemistry. Super clever people design software that can mimic what we want the experiment to look like. And then we can tell if there's potential for something to become a drug. So instead of screening 100,000 compounds manually, you can put them into a software. We call it virtual screening. You say, I want the top 10. You get the top 10. You work with them until you get to the last maybe 5, and then you take those into the lab. So it saves you time, it saves you money, it saves you manpower. Also, it saves you it gives you a more accurate job, which is what happened with COVID. People don't understand how the drugs came up so fast. It's the advancements in technology like that. So, for example, where people from other fields can come in, this company called Nanum, it makes VR games. It went and spoke to Meta, because they make the Oculus 2, and they said, can we partner so that we make a software for scientists to virtually meet to design COVID drugs, since people cannot meet in real time. And the software allows you to actually interact with the molecules in 3D, which was the issue.
Love it. What? What? Look at the things that are happening around us, and also like, where's the vaccine?
Why the vaccine is going to change our DNA?
We had questions, okay? We had questions because we didn't know who was behind that vaccine, and then those videos that kept on coming out didn't help the situation. Don't take the vaccine, and you're like, what? Should we die? What? I was like, oh my gosh. You also are big on HIV medication. Talk to us about that.
Most people don't understand that HIV is specific to countries.
No. Charmaine, you are a scientist, and
Okay, so there's HIV-A. That was the original. You know how COVID is mutating?
Okay, yes.
That's the same story with HIV. So HIV-A, HIV-B, they're like, HIV-A was the first one, and then A actually my department, gender, then B, then we have C. We don't only have C. So in South Africa we have CSA, and then in Zimbabwe we have CZW. With CZW actually we don't only have one, which is why you can find out who gave you HIV. Right. But here's the thing. The drugs we have in the world are made by the countries that have A and B. Meaning that the current ARVs on the market are not as efficient for our strain. Hence, I'm with the research group I'm with, the Catalysis and Peptide Research Unit. It's one of the only ones in the world researching HIV-C strain and finding medication or improving the current treatments to work better for our strains. Because it's a regional issue. If we cannot stop it from South Africa, when the truck drivers pass Zimbabwe going that's one of the biggest routes that spreads HIV through the region.
Ooh.
And so
they're bringing it from that side,
and they're crossing, and they have women at various points along the route. And those women, when they stay behind, have part-timers who come and fill in the vacancy. And then the reason that it then keeps going. So I also, someone you didn't mention in my CV who is very fundamental to my PhD is the Schlumberger Foundation.
Schlumberger.
I am also proudly a Faculty of the Future Fellow. They fund women who are doing PhDs and postdocs in STEM, who are mentors, who are STEM advocates, and empowering young girls in STEM fellowships. And they're quite generous. And they're in Europe, and they're just like, go do your thing, girl. So when I tell people I get paid to learn, they think I'm joking, but I do. And I get to then get that information and help other people. And so for HIV, for my master's, for example, I believe in biological molecules because I think they have less side effects on the body. Already HIV is doing a number. I don't want to give you medication that's going to be too heavy on your system. And I already know the toll of extreme medication having endometriosis. So I believe also the body will be slower to recognize it as a drug that's foreign, and so it has more time to work. So my research group is called Peptide Catalysis and Peptide because we are also one of the only research groups in the world looking into peptoids as medicine. They're smaller units of proteins, to put it simply. So because proteins are already in your body, it's easy to find. It's easy for your body to handle, and your body is less likely to reject it as a medicine. And thirdly, because it's cheaper to make medicines from biomolecules, so it'll make it more sustainable for us as less economically developed countries to continue making our own drugs. And I also believe because we have so much bio resources as Africa, we have so many plants that have medicinal effect, we can then use those to actually economically develop our region and give solutions to the world from Africa. Because my mantra is African solutions by Africans for African problems.
Mind blowing. My question now then is, I saw a post I think a couple of weeks ago that had a new HIV drug, like some ARVs, but it had now like a blue label on it, formulated in South Africa, and they were so excited about it. Does that then mean they stopped taking the ARVs that were coming from abroad and they now need to take the one that was formulated for them in South Africa?
So again, with any disease, each person's biology, that's another issue I didn't even go into because I have so many labs. That's pharmacogenomics. That Professor Masimirimbwa is actually very key in, and he's actually designed a kit that will help Zimbabweans test if you're particularly able to catalyze or use a certain drug, because our genetics are different in the world. That also affects HIV. So for example, efavirenz, half of the people who were getting the drug did not have the capacity to break it down, so it was building in their bodies. So that's the same with all of these drugs on the market. It has to fit you and how the HIV is impacting you. So that drug that's on the market may have certain indications that it works for. Remember, there's first line, second line, third line. There's tons of different drugs. So,
and in City, a tablet is a tablet.
And then here's the scary part. None of them, except that one, have been done on HIV-C.
Which is the one
that we have.
Okay, that's a story for another day, because now I can see question marks everywhere. Like, what have we been taking? Or, you know,
it works. It works, but it's not the best.
It's not the best.
It's like putting it's like putting biscuits, pataya on water, kanaya rapera.
Mota inofamba
unotoenda because
but mota inofamba.
I'm not trained.
Oh my goodness. We've got 5 minutes before the interview shuts down. Messages are coming through. Auntie, hello Charmaine, I'm a musician, but I'm a lover of science, and I did MPBC at A level. One day I'll get back to it because but music is my passion. Please give us your details for those interested in pursuing science. Also, I have a friend with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia.
Malaysia.
Malaysia. That's
Yeah.
Malaysia. Did it?
Malaysia.
Fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
Would you happen to know any support groups?
Okay, so firstly on music, there's so much to me. I also piano, keyboard, recorder, and harmonica. So on music, music is science. Music is science. Please, the best scientists are artists. The best artists are scientists. The best surgeons are musicians. So please don't stop your passion for music. BeckyB. And I think those will be the easiest for me to get back to you. BUCKEEYB.
Okay.
But the best is LinkedIn.
Yeah,
And
and
then
that's
I
Charmaine
can
with the
give
C.
you, yes.
Okay, that's Charmaine with the C on LinkedIn. Charmaine Kahiya on LinkedIn.
On rheumatoid arthritis, I'm not sure of support groups, but I know there should be. Even conditions like lupus have support groups in Zimbabwe, but people are just not aware because maybe you don't have the condition, or you're not aware someone close to you has it until you do. So I would advise him maybe to check on social media, Facebook, look for arthritis 28 standard.
After that, Jesus.
But arthritis for women, here's the thing. Women, our bodies, a lot of the stuff that happens to us are governed by hormones. And women are prone to what's called osteoporosis and arthritis based on calcium being controlled by premenopausal, perimenopausal, menopausal. They have to go get those supplements. You can go to the pharmacy and ask
Calcium
for
supplements.
for menopausal women. They have supplements or something. They have calcium, magnesium. Mama at 55 or whatever, she breaks her hip. So you become prone to arthritis. As a woman, you're already prone. Then certain things already make you more prone. So any age it can come.
She was a boffin. She was a boffin.
Sorry, who's Misha? Can you Facebook
Misha,
me?
Anzi, please Facebook me. You called me out on radio. Anzi, I'm listening to you, Vanuwe, and I'm very impressed. How can I meet you? I have a herb working for my mother, and her doctor doesn't want to use it. It is working wonders even without pills.
Can I comment on herbs? I am a proponent of herbs, but anything that you take into the body has a positive and a negative effect. Herbs are not tested, so it's unknown. Yes, they have a positive, but you don't know the dangerous. I have a publication to that effect that I did in my undergrad, my honors that use it,
Right.
where we took a drug the plant people used and tested it, and it was very toxic. It works, but it's very toxic.
773, I shall be giving Charmaine your number and she will be in touch. Pulses, thank you so much for tuning in on She Diaries. Charmaine Kahiya, superwoman of note. It is 1 o'clock. Stand by for the news.